Hello, welcome back to Smart Martial Arts, the YouTube channel where we go over everything martial arts. In this video, we're going to be talking about forms. And also, if you see any random blurring on my arms, it's because during editing I realized that something showed on the shirt, because this shirt is specific to a martial art that I do. It's the Jiu-Jitsu one. And the company is right here, and I also think it's here. I just got back from class, and we're actually going to be talking about pretty much the exact same thing, or one of the exact same things I talked to during my class. And that's, as I said, forms, but more importantly, why I think they're important, why I like them, and then why I teach them. The first thing of why I like them and why I think they're important is because something that me and the fifth degree Shihan that I know, we call the toolbox, which is everything you learn in class goes in the toolbox, which is anything you can use outside to help you. So in a combination, let's say you push block, back fist, and then swing into a cup shot, right? The tools, or the things that will go into the toolbox, are the block, the back fist, and then the swinging strike. So that's the toolbox. You learn the strikes in the form, if you have any strikes, and the blocks in the form, if there are any blocks. So you can put those in the toolbox, and now you've seen them, assuming you haven't seen them before. With the same thing with the toolbox is now, not only does it get in the toolbox, it also shows you where you can use it and where you shouldn't use them and how they can be together. Because really, what a form is to me is a simulated attack of 3 or more attackers. So in this, you are simulating you have multiple attackers. So let's just pick one, for example. If you're going in a form and you're doing, let's say, a front knuckle into like a push kick for whatever reason and then a roundhouse, you are going to see in that form where those strikes can go. And because when I teach sometimes on Tuesdays, we'll do the horse stance, and then we'll do 2 strikes and then ki in the last one, which is all well and fine because you see the strikes and you know how to do them. But now in the form, you can see where they're actually used. So you can learn, oh hey, a trigger finger can go to the eyes, can go to the neck, can go to the sternum, can go to the temple, can go to the ears, can go to anywhere else where you need a lot of pinpoint pressure, small target. So you can learn that kind of stuff. And it really shows, and it helps. Because then if you're going to teach, or you are someone who is asked a lot of questions, you can explain, oh hey, I know where this strike goes because of this form. And then you can explain to them, because I told my class that forms are important if you can look at it this way. Another reason why I think they're important is because it helps you practice weird movements. There's a lot of weird movements that we have in our forms where we have to face one way, and then we'll have to do a block, or it's a double block, to get behind us. And today's class, when I went over this, I asked if there was anything that they needed help with, hoping that someone would say this. And they did. I'm not going to do it because I'm wearing my gi. So I explained that every movement you have to do, there's a reason for it. And you practice that. You practice how to keep balance when you are switching between forward and back. And then also it's just a weird, because you can do any stance you want. Like the same thing when you're in here and you can do the front knuckle and back knuckle, that's great. And then you can do the stances, but you don't really know where they can be used. So it's the same thing where, oh, I learned this cat stance can be used when I'm drawing back in, and there's going to be a kick right after. So you learn what the movements mean. And then I mentioned with that, but it also helps with your balance, where a lot of thing in karate is balance, where that's the main thing that we stress, that when we do a combination and we have to go down and do a strike down here, we don't bend over, we don't lean forward, we squat down. So in a form, there's a lot of weird movements, there's a lot of weird things that you combine, which may throw you off if you don't do it right. So you can now practice, oh, when I throw a roundhouse or I throw this kick in this form, it knocks me off balance. How can I change that? How can I fix it? The other 2 things are kind of not why they're important, but why I like them. One is because they're just fun. For me, I think I'm the best at forms than all of my other stuff. Not that I'm the best in the class, but of the things I have, forms, jiu-jitsus, which are grabs, and then combinations and stuff like that, I think I'm, of those three, better at forms. So I think they're just fun to do. You can challenge yourself. You can face a different, if you have a mirror, instead of facing the mirror the entire time, you can face the back wall, you can face a corner, and you can just see, oh, hey, I get messed up here, and you can just have fun with it. It's a very fun challenge that I give to my class. Like, hey, everyone face this outlet. And then if they don't end up, like, hey, look what you didn't do. So you can just have a lot of fun with it, and there's a lot of different things you can learn, like kind of like complacency, where same thing, where if you're looking at the same place the entire time you do something, and then you get used to it and you're really good at it, but now you switch to the side, to the wall. Like if I was facing the mirror, or not the mirror, the camera, and I did something for 2 years, and then I switched to the wall, I'm gonna be out of my element because I'm not used to it. So you can start throwing yourself in a different loop, and you can start getting yourself in the uncomfortable position, and you can work yourself out of it. Because one of the main things that we do in a black belt test with my school is we'll have people do that, because we don't always stay in the dojo, we go other places. So having been used to not doing it in front of a mirror, being able to do it against a wall, outside, anywhere where you're not gonna know where you need to end up and go, you can start practicing that. And I'll just throw this out there. In order to get better at that, one thing that I always do is just realize where I have to be for a certain strike. Where if I'm facing the camera, and all of my forms, I think most forms, end the same way you focus, or end the same way you start. So if I did a form, I'd have to end facing the camera. But with that, how do I get to that that's going on? Because I can start back here, but then during my salutation, I can do it really wide, and I can end up back here. But if you're having trouble with this, and I recommend that you do try this, for a little bit of fun. If you find yourself having trouble with it, one thing that I like to do is I'll do it once, and I'll realize where I'm facing. Where if I did here, and then the next place I go is directly behind me. If I start facing this way, after all my stuff there, I have to face that way. And then I start here, I go here, and I face that way. So I'd have to start here, then turn around, and then go over there. So you have to kind of pay attention to the corner you're facing. Where if you are diagonal from here, I go here to there. When I'm behind, I go here and there. It's kind of weird to do or say and not show. But next week's video, we're going to be talking about ways to improve your forms, and then ways to just, I guess, like do that kind of stuff. How to have fun with your forms. So it's going to be a little a 2-week video. But they're just so much fun. And then the best part about a form is that it's one of the main things you can do by yourself. Where if you love martial arts and you want more of it, one huge thing and the hardest thing in martial arts is a form, because there are so many fucking things to focus on. So if you can do this by yourself, you are now able, and you practice a lot of things by doing it yourself. You figure out how to problem solve in your own mind, how it works for you. If you need to teach, now you can break it down, like, oh, how would I teach this? And you can just focus on all kind of stuff. And doing anything by yourself, like not having to be reliant on someone being there, is kind of a pain in the ass, because when you don't have it, you can't do it. So doing a form, which is just by yourself, is perfect. It's the one thing you can do where no matter where you are, as long as you have the space. And with that, I'm gonna go away from forms, but if you're doing combinations, that's a great thing to do, is to ditch having a person, but doing it in the air. And that's where you can focus on the details, where you can learn, where do I need to be? Like if I'm blocking and I need to step around and do whatever here, and I'm just, because we all know how to do a combination. If you've been doing it for long enough, you can just do it, and there's no problem. But once you don't have someone, it's different. It's the same thing of I'm facing a mirror versus I'm facing a wall. It doesn't have a mirror on it, or whatever it is. But you can now focus and break down and not have to, worry about pissing off your partner, because you can just oh, this block goes here because I need to go here. But then there's these 2 blocks, and then this takedown, what has this takedown work. You can do all that kind of stuff if you do it by yourself. That's all that I can think of. This is going to be a lot of a shorter video, because it isn't really that detailed. If there's anything that you think I missed, put that in the comments below. I'd love to hear why you guys do forms. And if you don't like forums, I'd love to hear why, because a lot of times because I'm biased, I love forums. They're so much fun, and I don't really talk to people who don't like them. That's just me. But I'd love to hear why you don't like forums, why you like forums, anything like that, anything I should add. But other than that, it's just a shorter video for you guys. I just thought that was important. That's all I have. I hope you have a wonderful night, evening, morning, whatever it is. Have a good one.